Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can paint with anything, but we recommend something that has bristles on the end of it. And when in doubt, we prefer those that are the sable variety. And that's all the paint teching you're going to get tonight on Painting with Menoth John. It is Sunday night, and that means that it is all right. Yes, we are doing cross-promotion tonight with Beer Machine because that happens to be the shirt that fell out of my closet this morning when it became time to become a dressed Menoth John. With me, of course, I have, live from Maryland, you know him as John Spencer. You know him also as my mighty right hand, the wind beneath my wings, the co-host with the host, Mr. John Spencer.
Heyo.
Land also with us, you will notice someone that you may not have been able to put a face to the name, but you've seen him in the chat room. With us tonight is, of course, the inimitable Ravebomb, Mr. Barry Holmes.
Hey, Brushheads, how's it going?
I will tell you, I'm starting to sound more like a wrestling announcer as things go on. Yeah, and I'm sorry, John. I'm not doing a good job of getting your face centered in that. Here, we're going to do that. And then we can go like, whoop, I think I just lost Barry's face. Hang on, this is going to be interesting. We are living the dream. There we go. There's the up and... See, now we've got John up and Barry down. Is that like pimps up, hose down, or whatever that was? There we go. All right, so I don't know how we're going to make this all work, but we are going to make it work here on the Painting with Menoth John show.
Something like that.
How's your week, John?
It was pretty good.
As mine was as well. It's stressful these days. It's very stressful. You know, we're living in a dog-eat-dog world, and I feel like I'm wearing milk-bone underwear these days, John.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they just announced that the Starbucks company is building another one of those reserve roasteries out there in New York City. New York City.
I guess that means you're gonna be traveling soon, huh?
Yeah, buddy. And so we're going to be doing that. Still a long ways out. They haven't built the building yet. But, so I'll be coming out there to the New Yorks of cities. And so, but that has it's been very, very busy. Turns out, New York has a lot of regulations, John.
They do indeed.
Turns out they're good at the laws.
Yes. Wait till they try and construct said building. More regulations.
You're going to need to nose a guy to get that job done. I'm going to tell you what.
I knows a guy.
I need to nose a guy. All right, anyway, so we have today on the extravaganza, we brought Barry on because Barry is a big fan of a particular show known as GrotsCon that you may have heard of. You may not have heard of it as much. But anyway, we're going to introduce you to all things Grotzy today. And that is going to be our spectacular second segment. But before we get too far into the show, we got to give you the business. And then we also have, ladies and gentlemen, we also have Creekins doing flybys tonight. And if you could ask John, ask her how the traffic is out there on the 475 or whatever highway is you have out there.
Oh, I'm sure it's light. There's the only one here.
I figure it feels like she's in Traffic Copter or something like that. So anyway, we always start the show off in a manner that befits our alcoholic type nature. Any of you who are here who like to watch us from the Hobby Hangout, welcome to the Hangout. We hope that you will enjoy this. And we usually start off with a little bit of sociability and fellowship. And tonight mine is brought to you by Sortilege, which is a beautiful, in Barry's honor, a beautiful Canadian whiskey maple syrup blend. And then also hailing from Canada, we have Brewmaster Cherry Pilsner. This is made in the Niagara College Teaching Brewery in Niagara, which is over there in the Ontarios. And it's in Niagara on the Lake, which is a beautiful little place. It's a very European feel to the place. So I'll be having this. It's a Cherry Pilsner. John, what are you going to be drinking this evening?
Well, funny enough, unintentionally, I also have something from Canada. I have Yukon Jack for a shot to start me off,
Very nice.
and then I'll follow it up with a force blow.
Outstanding. Force blows are amazing. Barry, what are you having for this evening?
I have Kraken and Coke in the yellow cup, and then I have my giant thing of iced tea because I expect to be talking a lot more than I usually do.
Well, you got to stay hydrated. We learned
Yes.
that from Dr. Strangelove. You have to make sure that your bodily fluids are pure and that you have enough of them. So, ladies and
well
gentlemen, on behalf of the Ravebomb, on behalf of everyone joining us here in the chat room, all 16 of you, hey, Ron.
Ron.
Tastes like I'm at the IHOP. That was lovely. Okay, so I probably should not be drinking a whole lot more of that because I'll get a little bit more messed up than I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, keep the shirt on.
The shirt will stay on, and so there you go. So, the next thing we like to do when we're talking about the business is we like to acknowledge our sponsors. We, of course, want to acknowledge Flight Medic, who's in there, and I believe Flight Medic, you're not doing the dice trays anymore, but, get on over there and check out Flight Medic's, he has a blog that he likes to post pictures of and things like that, so Flight Medic, if you wanted to put in the chat room anywhere a URL to said blog, that would be super sweet. Also, we want to thank Adam at Greenleaf Terrain for helping to keep the lights on here at Painting with Menoth John. Adam makes some of the finest Canadian. This is a theme, John.
Yes, it is.
It's all Canada all the time. We have some elections going on down here, Barry. Maybe you've heard of them.
There was some rumors. Just kind of percolate up through the border. That something crazy was going on.
We're pretty sure that hell has literally broken through the surface in America and spat out our presidential candidates.
I would share that assessment.
It's pretty fair.
It's rough. It's rough, and not in a good dog kind of way. It's just rough. And so we have that going on, and so we're looking at countries that could potentially welcome the Painting with Menoth John show to their fine borders. And Canada, if you want to, you could petition to bring the Painting with Menoth John show to Canada, and we'd be fine with that.
I would have to talk with the appropriate people.
Yep.
If I can see if he's home, maybe.
Yeah, check that guy out. I hear he's a nice fella.
Usually.
And if you want some of the sweet Greenleaf Terrain, that's Adam at Greenleaf Terrain at .com. His Canadian terrain is absolutely .com, and so you want to get over there. Nothing looks sweeter than some sweet painted models with the kind of 3D terrain that he does. If you want to see some of the examples, get over there to miniwargaming.com. We're going to promote them. They're not giving us anything. They should. I'm going to have to give that guy a call. He's Canadian. And see if he'll give me something for talking about him on the show all the time. But anyway, Greenleaf Terrain, the purveyors of awesome metric terrain. It comes in both the millimeters and the centimeters. So you got that going for you. We've got KR Multicase. John, when I put my models, and I'm going to take them to the game store, and I put them in that blue Butafoam, let me tell you what it sounds like. I'm going to do one right now. That's what it sounds like. You can literally hear the little pewter guys going, because if they were putting the Ravebomb, they might go or something like that, but they don't. In the sweet Butafoam of the KR Multicase, it's blue because blue starts with B and B stands for Butter. And if you're on a roll, try KR Multicase. And then lastly, we have Clockwork Phoenix, which is the fabulous company of the DC, the David Carl, who has two fantastic new games coming out. Both of them are going to be card games based in the Guild Ball universe. We don't have a lot of details yet, But this is a guy who we know and trust from a design standpoint. So looking forward to hearing more about that. As things start to shore up a little bit, we'll bring DC back onto the show, and he can tell us all about it. So fantastic stuff there. But what we really need here is, and I've tried to do a decent job with these commercials, but what you really, really need is a spokesmodel, John.
Absolutely.
And tonight, for the spokesmodel, we have it's not north of the border, but there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities, shall we say, between the country of Ios and Canada, at least certain parts of Canada, mostly in the eastern side, east of the Ontarios. And we've talked already about our main sponsors, but what we haven't talked about so far is the Patreon. And here for the Patreon.com, and especially the www.patreon.com/manofjohn, is Moros from the Retribution of Syra for getting over there to the Patreon. Hello, I am Moros, and let me tell you what it is to be an Iosian Jack. It is not easy. Sometimes you will see me, sometimes you will not. I come like a wind in the night through the trees, much like I do when I am coming through trees, like in Canada. This is an all-Canadian show. That is what Mr. Menoth John told me. Now, if you really want to see, notice the shine that is coming onto me from this side. That is light. And light is something that we, Retribution Jacks, we abhor the light. But we need the light here at Painting with Menoth John. He tell me the only way the lights stay on is with the Patreon. The Patreon? With no Patreon? Boom, no light. See how dark it got? That was amazing. These are the special effects of the Painting with Menoth John show. But when the Patreon come, the Patreon, let there be light. And there was light. And it was good. And the only way that the light comes is with the Patreon.com. Since he put the camera right, it is easier for me to point to the Patreon.com/menothjohn. I will now stage dive into the Patreon. They do that in Canada, They do the stage diving. It is what we do for the rush or the triumph. I like that. Triumph. Yes, that is a band from Canada. Also, they have the that one woman with the My Heart Must Go On. That was whatever her name was. She's in Vegas now. But anyway, I am Moros, and Menoth John would most certainly appreciate if you went over there to www.patreon.com/MenothJohn. He says you can give the kind that jingle, but he prefer the kind of fold. And he also say that if you give at the $5 level, he has a mask for you. I will now model the mask. Look how good it looks upon me. It is hard to look this good, but I do it behind my mask of the crony inner circle. So, get on over there. If you don't give now, I don't know when you will give, because this is magic. Anyway, so on with the show. I am the Moros, and check you next time. I think they say that in the States. All right, well, thank you very much, Moros. That was super legit and totally sweet.
I have to thank you for your culturally correct advert there. It's perfect.
We're bringing this whole podcast to you in metric. We are gonna make you feel at home, Barry. We've got a metric bit rate now. We're in the kilobits per second. That's how we're doing it. We don't have time for these furlong bits per second or whatever it would be in the standard the English whatever imperial whatever it's called. Those clowns in England with all of their Englishness. And what's funny about it is we're stuck with their damn units, and they don't even use them anymore. What's up with that?
Oh.
They have things called British thermal units, and they won't even hear about it. What a country! I'm glad we threw their tea in the old ocean there a few years ago, fuckers. Anyway, so there. Oh, so I'm drinking the cherry beer, and it's It's pretty okay. For a bunch of students hanging out in Niagara on the Lake. How they work that little deal, nobody knows. There goes a cat. And it's not a bad beer. We're gonna drink it, and we're gonna say it's plenty good for this show. So,
I mean, it's no MGD, but
oh no, but then again, that's not this show. That's other shows. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this over onto the painting cam. I'm gonna leave this bottle open here in case anybody forgets what it is that they get if they become a patron at the $5 pledge level. If you join, by the way, at the $2 pledge level, you get a sticker for your car, which is super legit and totally sweet also. But we are here today, and our timing is, Barry, did you ever think that you'd be on a show that has this impeccable of a sense of timing?
No, actually, it's very fortuitous.
It is. Here we are. We're at the 16-minute mark. This is the point at which we say, you know what? We got to get serious. We've given people the business. Now it's time to get serious about this shit, and we're gonna do that now. I'm gonna do some painting. Like I said, I'm working on these scatter gunners, and I'm going to be applying paint to them. I'm going to be using some Privateer Press paints here today. I'll be starting off by doing some pig iron, and even though I'm not painting ferro, I think that's allowed, right? And we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to put that onto the old wet palette here so that I can wet my palette a little bit. And what are you currently painting right now, Barry?
I picked up a dozen Invictors, so they are. I got one of the new plastic sets.
Oh, okay.
They're really nice models. Right, they're very clean. They fit together incredibly easy. So I need to paint them up to become basically fully painted with my Retribution again.
Nice.
And I expect I'll get that done just in time for the Void Tracers to come out.
There you go.
I'll be chasing that 100% for a while.
yeah, but that's only like 2 models. You're only gonna need to get FA2 on those guys.
Sure, yeah.
Remind me what the Void Tracers do.
They have they're spell immune, but their big thing is is arcane annihilation. When an enemy model casts a spell at a target within 5 inches of the model, the casting model takes D3 damage before the spell is resolved.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so that basically makes things that are like single point spellcasters fairly sad.
Yeah. Yes. One time out of 3, you will pop Baby Haley force hammering you.
Super sweet. That's amazing. All right, so that one of those guys coming out.
End of the month is when I think they're due to ship.
Cool. So Barry, we didn't bring you on to talk to you about what the Void Tracer does. What we want to talk about is this GrotsCon. Now, GrotsCon is it's a convention that I've heard of, but I don't know a whole lot about it. And that was one of the reasons why I was interested on having you on the show here, which was to kind of educate us a little bit on what GrotsCon is and where does it take place and those kinds of things. So give us a primer on what that's all about.
Okay, so I'll start here at the very, very basics. GROTS stands for, as far as I know, and I wasn't able to verify this, but from memory it says it's the Greater Red Deer Organization of Tactical Silliness. It is a meta out of the Albertan province of Canada. Red Deer is a city between the 2 big cities of Calgary and Edmonton, mm-hmm. So they pull a large number of players to them.
By the way, I need to step in for just a second, Barry. I hate to interrupt you, but for those of you who are wondering what a province is, that's a metric state.
It's a metric state. Yes, yeah, okay. Yes, it is.
Okay, excellent.
I'll drink to that.
Hey, Ron. All right, so
it's So Alberta is the second province in from Canada's west coast. I live in the central province. A good 12 hours away, 13 hours if you go the speed limit. And then on the other side of me is the Ontario, which is where like Tim Banky and Matt Clark are the Canadian judges hail from.
Gotcha.
They have the Ontario Open next week, I believe.
Yes, they do.
which is going to be massive fun. So if anybody's suddenly needs something to do next week, go definitely go and do that. So the other thing with the Grots group, that's actually where the majority of Team Canada comes out of for the WTC events.
Okay.
So Team Moose and Goose, who they actually both placed in the top 20 last year. It was very impressive team. A lot of skill there. A lot of great people.
Well, that's really exciting. And now, basically what we're hearing here is that Bubba Dalton, King of the North, who is from Ontario, pretty much dog meat. Then that's what I'm hearing here, right?
I will agree with that statement. With absolutely no knowledge of how dog meaty that might be.
No, that's fine.
So
I just love to poke fun at Bubba Dalton because he is.
Yeah.
Well, I am the president of War Machine and Hordes for Life. He is the King of the North. So there
absolutely.
you go. Well, cool. So
we actually I believe have a King of the North tournament at some point. There's a lot of events that go on that West Coast. Right, so the moment I win the lottery, I'm moving out there because that's where all the action is.
So what actual city is the con taking place in?
It is taking place in a little city called Red Deer.
Okay.
Which is again, it's about between Edmonton and Calgary, both of which are giant cities. Red Deer is a street with buildings on it, which. It works well. I'm just going to give a shout out to the two major organizers. There's Jerry Hodson and Cameron. I'm going to butcher your name, Cameron. I'm sorry. Buskell, I believe, are the two primaries. Although I'm probably missing names, and for that I apologize to everybody else.
That's very Canadian of you.
Yeah.
I know Jerry from some of the senior events, and he's a terrific fella.
Yeah, he's really awesome. Jerry was actually running a Guild Ball tournament this time, I believe.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah. So Grots happened this year, last week. So last week at this time I was getting my butt kicked, but we'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday being the majority of the items. I actually took a peek at the various result sheets, and there was no less than 50 War Machine players, 36 40K players, probably about a dozen Guild Ball players, judging from the tables that were set up, and then a number of Infinity players.
Wow, that's a really good turnout.
Not at all.
And it was packed, and I mean it was just gaming. It was, my goodness, if you had a miniatures game to play, there were people to play it there with you.
Well, and that's such a fun thing at a con. You know, when you go to a con, it's a nice opportunity, of course, to play the game that maybe is your primary game. But boy, is it a nice opportunity to see other games that maybe you're not as familiar with getting played as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my friends, he's been kind of interested in Infinity. He wanted to take a bit and go check out some of the Infinity. I'm not sure if he actually got a chance to, but it was definitely on his list of things to do. Super
awesome. Now, Barry, I know that you play the War Machine and Hordes. You're an very active Ret player. Do you play any other miniatures games?
I dabble in a couple others. I play a bit of Relic Knights with the wife every now and then. But most of the other things I do center around like D&D. I've got a whole slack of stuff painted for Dungeons and Dragons.
Terrific.
Right, I played some 40K in the years gone by, but again, that's kind of faded. So it's that's about the long and short of it for the moment.
Sure. So now you said you went and played some games and maybe had some tougher luck than you wish you had.
Well, so I'm gonna back up just a touch here.
Sure.
I'm actually gonna just first of all, before we get into the games, I'm gonna just give a shout out to I just dropped a link in chat there to Thunderground Comics. They're out of I keep wanting to say they're out of Alberta. They're out of Edmonton.
Okay.
They're sort of the home store, if you will, for Grots. The proprietor there, I met him. This is actually the second year I've been to GrotsCon. We stopped at his store last year for about an hour to pick up some prize support. This year we were there a little early. We had a day to kill. We went up there. I walk in the door and he's like, "Hi, Barry," and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's impressive for someone in retail.
So I walked out with a box of plastic Invictors. So
Well, and that's folks, we strongly support your local game store here, and we also very strongly support that if you play somewhere or something like that, that it's not good. It's a good thing to do to purchase something from them. You purchased the box of 12 Invictors, and I want to get back to that, Barry, because I want to hear about how the quality of the model was from mold lines and stuff like that, because I've always been kind of interested on how those models turned out. But I would encourage each and every one of you to, if you're playing in some place for a tournament, it's the right thing to do. Go and spend a little bit of money with that LGS proprietor, because they're the ones that are making it possible for you to have a really cool place to play. So please continue on, Barry.
yeah. On that vein, I'm actually going to also just quickly plug Imagine Games and Hobbies, which is my home store.
Nice.
And again, they are located here in Winnipeg, and again, awesome people. And it's a very entertaining store because it's about half board games, a little bit of miniatures, some play area, and then like Army surplus.
Army surplus, you say?
Yes, it's you get some very very interesting people through the store because you never know if somebody's coming in for a gas mask or a Kodiak.
Well, there you go. They could be they could be one of those God, what the hell are they called for Kador? The assault commandos. It could be an assault commando. You might be looking for both. You might be looking for both.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, but it's a very good store. They've been in operation for years. They don't stock War Machine as well as perhaps I'd like them to, but they will happily order in anything you want. So
I think a lot of LGSs are like that. They may not carry a ton on the wall, but if you ask them to get you something, by gosh, they'll get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean I've ordered everything from paints to minis to random stuff. I've ordered even some of the more obscure things. I was able to get Relic Knights out of them, which again isn't that obscure, but I mean.
Oh, that's pretty obscure. That's pretty obscure, man.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway, let's talk briefly about the Invictors I picked up on Thursday.
Yeah, please.
I actually have them. I've base coated them. I'm just going to hold this one up to the camera a little bit.
All right.
If I can see myself, there we are. This is a standard bearer.
Okay. Yep.
And this is about the worst that I can complain about them is if you just look at the top of that standard.
Yeah, he's a little bent.
It's a little bent, right?
Oh.
I'd assembled them. I basically with glue and that was it. I had a small pair of clippers just to take them off the couple of sprues they had. But I mean they're clean, they're sharp.
So no big problems with mold lines going over weird, nasty places or anything like that.
No, actually, I once I got them home here, I went over them all looking for mold lines.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed. I did not find any.
That's good disappointment.
That's
not bad disappointment.
That's a very good disappointment. Excellent.
Yes. So it was really really refreshing. There was a couple. There was like a little piece of flash I think I found on one of them. But honestly, I have no issues with these models. They went together incredibly easily. About the only thing I think I had issue with was figuring out which hands go with which body.
Ah, yes.
But
fun with dry fitting there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, but yeah, there's a bit of dry fitting, but they're all keyed. They're all cleanly keyed, and it was like, you know what? This one clearly does not fit. But this one does.
Got it.
So it was great. I got a squad together.
Well, that's super legit. So that very good. So remember, folks, when you're at a tournament or something like that, make sure you stop into the LGS and spend a little bit of money with them because that's what keeps the love rolling, guys. So you got to the Grots, and what kind of a facility is it held in?
So it is the GrotsCon is held in it's what's the word?
Is it like a
There,
banquet hall or what is it?
yeah, it's a facility that hosts events basically.
Okay.
So we got a a single room in a large hall area. Um, right, the room itself. Um, I'm just thinking here. We had five rows of tables
Okay.
with 16 places per table. Now, if somebody wants to
Wow.
do the math on that,
A
feel
lot.
free.
That's a big damn hall.
So yeah, it was good. But I mean, again, I mean, we packed it with what I say earlier. 30, 80, 100
Yeah,
games. So
100
that's
plus people.
200
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, that's
right?
great.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, it was busy, but I mean, it was solid. There's right, and there's washrooms immediately right there.
Nice.
So it was good.
Bathrooms and
Yes.
chairs are clutch
Yeah.
at cons. The first time I went to TempleCon back in 2010, there were not enough chairs for everyone to sit on in there, and chairs were like freaking gold. If you found a chair, it was like, nope, that's my chair. That was fighting words. Somebody came for your chair, but no, that's great. So you got it all held, and I'm surprised that you describe the place that it's held, the city that it's held, or village, or whatever it is. Um,
A
that
road.
so it's a road with a couple things on it. Yet they have a facility that has a banquet or event center of this scale.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very nice place, and I mean, I don't want to put down Red Deer, but it is basically it's a long strip of a city, and
You can say what you want
uh,
about Red Deer. It's okay. Probably nobody in Red Deer's watching right now. It's okay. I hear
well,
I hear
once
that they don't like kittens in Red Deer. I'm
oh,
just gonna put
there
that
you
out
go.
there.
That's it. I'm not going to get invited back now.
No. That's Mouth John talking. That's not Barry. You don't have to worry about the greater Red Deer Chamber of Commerce coming after you. You send them my
There you
way.
go. Fair enough.
So
So, yeah. So Friday, Friday was the first round of events. It was an Iron Gauntlet event. I've never played in an Iron Gauntlet before,
okay.
so I thought that would be very interesting. Iron Gauntlets are 3 list events, 50 points. Um, there is no of the divide and conquer. You can play with whatever lists, however many you want.
Oh, nice.
The kicker is with Iron Gauntlets is if you make it to the gauntlet rounds, which is basically the top four, you have to build a 75-point list with models from armies you fought with.
Got it.
Right. So I took Asaria, Thyron, and Ron.
Hey, Ron. There's some old school right there.
Now, we're gonna get really drunk really fast here at this rate.
That, by the way, that's how this shit got started. By the way. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Right. And so as my three lists, um, Asaria.
Mhm.
I had my first game against Scar One, and
I'm sorry.
my Asaria list was with a Hyperion and Imperatus, some Electromancers, and a unit of Invictors, and some assorted support models in there.
Hmm.
It's a little thin on the ground, but it does clear infantry like you'd never believe. So I played that into Scar One. I had an awesome feat turn. I cleared so much stuff, and then Scar got defeat, and apparently POW 20 Mechanothralls wreck Hyperions.
This just in.
Yes, yes.
So
See, this is actually this is something else that's really awesome about going to events like this is you get to see things you don't normally see, right? My local group is fairly small. There's maybe about a dozen of us total that play. Half of them play regularly. So going out and getting pummeled by Scar One is like I'm going to remember that.
yeah, she's dirty bad people. So did he? So, ladies and gentlemen, as president for life of War Machine and Hordes, I want you to know the Mechanothralls are very, very clearly within my purview at this point. So these 3 and 5 point units are something that I have taken under advisement. I've been taking my vitamins. I've been saying my prayers, and much like the Hulk, I am planning on the Hulkamania. I'm planning on doing something about these mechanothralls long term. So just don't worry about it. We got this one. We'll come back and get you. So anyway,
no worries there. But no, so I dug deep under a serious feat turn. I cleared lots. I electroleaped like you wouldn't believe. And then again, Scar feated. The Crix recursion stuff kicked in, and I just couldn't. I didn't have the models to handle the pushback, unfortunately.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So it was very good. It was very tight, but it was good stuff.
Excellent. So that happened.
My second game there. Thyron versus Vale won, and I wound up playing against Lucas, who was last year's Alberta Invitational winner.
Oh, okay.
He is also one of the WTC players.
So he's terrible at this game.
Yeah,
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So he's playing Legion with a couple of Angelii, Typhoon, who has sprays for days. I think it was a Ravagore, and some Hex Hunters in a pot.
So he really broke ground. I mean, he really exercised the breadth of what that faction has to offer.
He dug deep.
He dug deep into that list. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that the addition of the
Hex
Ravagore
Hunters.
was just inspired. So,
And that is why you are always welcome on this show, Barry.
Wait,
Well played.
okay. So I pushed into that with Thyron. I had double halberdiers, a minimum rifleman unit, and of course the infiltrators with Iris 3.
Nice.
Right, and a Banshee, because nothing is happier than an assailed Banshee.
Yeah, it's pretty happy.
So Lucas gave me an awesome game where he taught me about positioning and how to position your models in such a way that it just takes assassination off the table. He positioned. Threat ranges were just like, well, if I run at you, you're going to kill me, and if I charge, I'm not going to get there. And so I basically lost a halberdier unit off one flank. Felt desperate, and then I hopped a wall with Thyron. And the moment I did that, I'm like, I'm going to get an angel to the face, aren't I? Spoiler alert, I took an angel to the face.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So one of the things I noted after, actually it was funny because as I'm turning in the sheets, one of the guy doing the scoring, he's like, you just have to clock him out, right? Clock out Lucas. And I'm like, really? And I went back and I looked at our clocks, and the clocks ended. He had 5 minutes, and I had 20 left on the clocks. And I'm like, interesting.
Just keep forcing dudes into his face and wait for him to lose.
Yeah,
the
pretty
next
much.
level of tournament play is looking at the clock. It feels weird because you don't use it normally, but it keeps you in some games.
Yeah, totally does.
And you turn to the guy at that point and say, "Where the hell were you at my table 15 minutes ago, you jerk?"
I know, right? But I mean, apparently they have to run these events or something,
Boo.
which I think is a poor excuse.
It's totally poor. All right, so you're 0-2, but you've got the support of the Brushhead Nation at this point.
Yeah.
Who's your next opponent?
Madrak, actually, and he was sporting a Creo Warrior boat of so many dudes.
So he's playing the theme list.
I'm thinking so. I'm gonna drop this here because I just remembered one of the things I do. I found really useful when because I'm actually looking at a list of notes that I made for all this.
Wow.
But one of the things I did last year, and I repeated it again this year, was at the beginning of every game, I took a picture of my opponent's sheet.
Oh, okay.
So I could see, so he's got Madrak and Runes of War, or whatever it is, Veil and something not Veil, and just so I can see, what it is that happened, and then that also helps me keep the game straight because I played 11 games last weekend.
Wow, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, they blur a little bit. So
You think? Good job, though. That's the note taking thing is a really good process for trying to get better.
yeah, the other thing I try to remember to do is take a couple pictures during the game.
Mm-hmm.
But again, once you get into it, I mean, unless you're really disciplined on that, like, oh, it's my turn, click,
Yep.
let's go. It's I don't have nearly as many pictures as I would like.
Cool.
But so my final game, Ron versus Madrak and his Creole Warrior Boat of Doom, beautifully painted army, lots of tartan type
Nice.
cross hatching, and I played Ron into that.
Okay.
So what happened there was I basically had Ron had battle mages, archers, sentinels, Phoenix. Did I have ghost snipers? I may have had ghost snipers, just as something different.
Sure.
But I basically jammed across the zone with sentinels and the Phoenix, and just really made him burn his clock.
Yeah.
And
That could be a
And
very
he's-
hard. That could be a very hard army for a troll player to activate quickly enough to make it work.
yeah, so I actually technically won that one on clock.
There you go.
So yeah, the Phoenix died ever so slowly, right? Because I mean, he just jammed in and just would not take damage. It was glorious.
Well, that's good. So
So-
so you're one in 2.
Yeah,
on the
I'm
day.
1 and 2, and that was Friday.
Well, there you go.
So went back to the hotel room, and I really wasn't feeling the Asario list, right? I
Okay.
sort of the Electromancers, I really wanting to play with them, but the way I had Asaria set up, it just wasn't. They're not resilient enough, and I didn't have anything really to jam with them.
Okay.
Saturday is a Masters event, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. My initial thought was to play Ron and Thyron into that.
Sure. All the
Um,
Rons.
Yeah, which is a solid pair for sure.
I love
um,
Thyron.
But I was really sort of getting the feel of Asaria, and I'm like, fuck it. I've got 2 units of Invictors, thanks Underground, and you just slide that in there. And so I built them, and I'm like, I'm going to go for the Asaria theme list.
Love
with
that theme
double
list.
Invictors, Halberdiers, and a Hyperion,
Yup.
right? And replace Thyron with that, and then I have my Ron list of that I've played a lot out of, and we'll go that way.
Cool. How'd that work out for you?
It was a very entertaining day.
When I was playing my Retribution on a regular basis, I played Assyria in theme frequently, and always enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, getting that +2 speed, and especially now with the House Guard Thane, Halberdiers can run 18 inches first turn.
That's a long ways up the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, and then they reach another 2 inches.
Yep.
And so if you start second, you are almost reaching their AD line.
Yep.
Like it is craziness.
Yeah. Super fast list.
Just a little bit. So Saturday was a Masters event. It went for 5 rounds. Masters is 2 50-point lists, and then it has the ADR feature, where
Okay.
if you play certain warcasters in both your lists, you can get 20 points of specialists that you can swap into and out of your list at the beginning of every game.
Now, I've been out of the competitive scene for a very long time. Who is on Rhett's ADR right now?
Isaria,
Mhm.
Ron,
Oh.
Fyron, and I want to say Viros 1.
Well, there you go. So you're living the dream at this point.
Yes, yeah, because I mean my initial pair was Ron and Thyron for all the Rons.
Run.
And oops, we're gonna have a cat here in just a second.
That's all right. We love
Nope.
cats. Internets love cats.
They do. I just don't want them on my keyboard right now.
Sure.
Because that leads to weird things. But yeah, no. So my initial pairing was Ron and Thyron, but again, I was looking at sort of what was out there and whatnot. I was thinking that the double Invictor list might have had a little more play into everything. And I see. Okay. This one's for you, Ducky. This one's for you.
Yay.
This is Harley, who is not wanting to be held right now.
Well, that'll happen.
So
Cats are like that. They're fickle beasts.
yeah, and he is going to go all the way. You'll probably see him on the bookshelf right up there in a minute.
Okay.
There he is.
Nice. We're always going to take a moment for the cats. That's always good. We got Belinda Librarian in the chat room, and I know that she's checking out the cat right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing good.
Yeah, so that's Harley. He just, we call him that because he just motors around everywhere.
Well, there you go.
So, alrighty. So yeah, so with with everything, I've completely lost my train of thought. So first game on Masters.
Yep.
I'm playing Assyria into Runes of War.
Okay.
Which is I thought was pretty good. My initial thing, I swapped out my halberdiers for a unit of riflemen, so I had the biggest gun line that I think I've ever played with. Rifleman, double Invictor, Hyperion.
It feels like you should shoot Rooms of War off the table with your eyes closed.
It very much could have been. So he moves up, I move up. He makes he gets free walls because of his tier. He has Janissa to make more walls. He makes a little Fort Doomy with like all of the walls, and then another wall that's on the table. He had a lot of walls. I misjudged the Hyperion to Molg distance by about an inch.
Uh-oh.
And between Molg and I believe it was an Earthborn, and it took both of them like a full thing to crush the Hyperion, but they did it.
That's bad times.
He then moved some Rune Shapers, kind of screen in front of Doomy. He had a sort of like Rune Shapers walled Doom Shaper, right? It was quite the little lineup he had. So Assyria feated. I blew a stone off the table. I then blew the Rune Shapers off the table, and now I'm looking at a unit of Invictors, and I need 9s to hit. And Assyria's feat, for those that don't know, is I get an extra dice, but I have to drop a dice. But Invictors, when they CRA, they get a reroll. So I'm looking at 9s. And I pair off, and I put 4 solid shots into Doom Shaper, leaving them at 2 boxes. Right, everybody hits, and I'm looking at it. I've got 3 guys left to activate, and I'm like, well, I can put 1 more, needing a 9 to hit, and maybe he toughs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 1 more gun, and then I, in case he toughs, and then I can just make him tough again, and hopefully one of those takes him out.
Yep. Or
my other option is I can put a 3-man into him, which needs a 7 to hit, and I have a reroll for that as well. And I'm like, but then if he toughs, I'm just straight screwed. And I think about it for a minute, and I do the 2-man plus 1-man combo, and I miss.
With a reroll, huh?
Oh. Yes, with the reroll. I missed the 9, rerolled it, missed the 9 again, and I'm like, crap. Shoot the 1 gun, I need a 10, miss. No rerolls. My opponent at that point, who was just like, he's standing there, he's watching everything, he's marking off, he's like, I need a minute. And he just sits down, he's just, oh. and then he puts Molg into Assyria.
Yeah, well, yep.
Right, but I mean, it was one or 2 guns either way, or if I'd hung it on a tough roll, I mean, both of those, it could have gone.
I don't know.
Either way, it's hard to do.
From where I'm sitting, I think you made the right decision.
Yeah, again, because tough is such a strange mechanic. It's like maybe I just randomly don't win, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but being able to get all that shots into him to get the Invictors into the right place. I mean, I thought I came out of that game like, whew, dice, but yay.
Yeah.
So
All right, brother. Well, that sounds like some rough luck there with how that turned out. Um, Barry, we've done a lot of battle reports here, probably more than we've done in some time, and I'd love to keep on doing it. We do have a plethora of questions, and I'd like to, what you've shown here is that GrotsCon has some damn good competition going on, and if you're looking for a con that has got some good gaming with some great people, it sounds like GrotsCon is your answer.
it very much is. So I'm just going to go with two more quick comments here.
Yep,
Then
sure.
first up here, I'm just going to drop a link in the chat to it. This here is a thread I maintain on Muse on Minis. This will have it doesn't have any GrotsCon battle reports yet, but I will get those written up directly. Because I was sort of saving it for this show. I didn't want to, give anything away before I went out. As the other kicker is overall throughout the Masters event and even into Sunday. Sunday was a little more just pickup games,
Okay.
which were entertaining. But I ended the Masters basically at the top of people who didn't score or didn't win any games.
Well, there you go.
So, best of the worst.
Hey,
So,
no wooden spoon for you, sir. No wooden spoon for you.
no, I also got more control points than I did last year. Because last year I basically scored in one game. This time I scored several times, and then either had just a touch of bad luck or a touch of bad positioning, and it's overall with just a couple minor exceptions, they were all really awesome games.
Well, and that's really what you want to look for. Is did you make improvements year after year, year over year? Boom, sounds like you did. And did you have fun? That's the number one goal, and it sure sounds like you did.
Yeah, I cannot complain about any of my opponents or any of the games. I'm just going to call it the Kruger 2 game that I played. If my opponent is listening, I'm sorry for being cranky during that game, but having your entire army shut down does kind of do that. So
Don't worry, I got Kruger 2 in the sights, buddy. Kruger
Yeah,
2's in the sights too.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is that part of the show where we open it up to the Brushheads for questions. And John, for the last few weeks, we have kind of struggled to get
Not a lot of questions.
to get questions. And then I said, we like questions, and then people came out of the woodwork. So
Yeah, we are not going to get to all of these. I'm just going to say that here. So
no, that's fine.
we're going to hit some of these next time.
That's fine. That's fine. So why don't you go ahead, John? You are the keeper of the questions. Let's go ahead and let's belt some of these things out.
All right. Well, Dowdark, who's in the chat room, I think still,
That guy.
asked, your friends are playing a game and you want to play with them, but none of the game's factions really call out to you. What do you do?
So Barry, you want to take that one first as our guest?
That's interesting. So none of the factions are really grabbing you. I would just either try with somebody else's items. Right, if again, I'm going to use War Machine as the example. Just grab that Cater army or that Red army or whatever, and just give it a whirl. Maybe you'll come to like it. Possibly not.
That's a really good piece of advice. And one of the things with talking about another game, you've got Guild Ball, where they literally give all of the different rules out for free, and you can actually play with paper dolls. So that's a situation where you can really get some experience with different, and to try to see if any of them call out to you in that way. And John, what are your thoughts on that question?
I actually go the other way. I mean, if none of the factions really appeal to you, I mean, maybe that's a thing they have and you don't have.
Yeah.
That's the good thing is that, you could all have different things. You don't have to all play the exact same games. They're playing that. You can go, you can go play Magic with your buddies for a little bit. I mean, hell, even I did a little bit of that this week.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, no doubt. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, shit. Holy cow. I'm having a moment here. I need a moment. I'm like your opponent, Barry. I need a moment.
I don't
Yes.
own any cards or anything. I played with their decks. But,
Oh, that's
It was
good.
a good time.
You chose wisely, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm not stupid.
So what's the next one, buddy?
Next one.
Flippity blue.
Actually, I'll get this one from Holy Ducky One. He says, "Ravebomb, if you could play anyone in the world, who would it be?"
Oh my goodness. Anyone in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, actually, you know what? I think I'd play Menace John here
Aw.
because that sounds like an awesome game.
We'd
I
have
mean,
fun.
I played Lucas this year. I played actually Tom Gowan last year. That's a level of gaming I'm not sure I'm ready for, but I think me and John could have a really good game of whatever.
Heck yeah. We'd sure as hell laugh our ass off, I'll tell you that. We'd have a good old time. I try to make sure anybody I play against has a good time. Even when Codex Dan was doing terrible things to me at Adepticon, I made sure we both had a good old time.
Oh.
So, John, who would you play?
God, that's a tough one. I mean, I've played Brian White, and he was super fun. We
He's
had a great
amazing.
game.
Yep.
Honestly, I'd love to play Keith Christensen. We talked a couple times. I didn't really get a chance to play him or anything, but I feel like he'd be a good guy to play.
Keith is a terrific guy to play. I've played against him a couple of times, and he's a real gentleman. And he is, I played against my most memorable game against Keith was I played against him at a Who's the Boss, where he brought a troll army and then spun into a caster that had defensive buffs and armor buffs. Yeah, that's not fair.
No.
There's a reason why trolls don't get armor buffs. So, yeah, so it didn't work out too well for me, but I sure had a nice time. So, there you go. Flippity bloop.
All right. Patrick Augustine says, would you rather A, drink MGD, or B, get a paper cut and put rubbing alcohol on it?
I'll take that one first. I would rather get a paper cut and pour the rubbing alcohol on it. I mean, at least it doesn't hurt as long. MGD
Barry,
is
what do you
terrible.
think?
I cannot disagree with that statement. Cut me twice.
Paper cut, rubbing alcohol, not close.
No. So MGD's terrible. I mean, it's a bad beer for bad people, drank by terrible people. So except for Brian Kerr, he's a good man. He's a brushhead, and I know that he likes the MGD, but he's the one exception to the terrible person rule. So there you go, because he's got brushhead status. Other than that,
There
they're
you go.
terrible fucking people. Anyway. Flippity bloop.
All right. Jillian Walker wants to know, what's our favorite paint line?
My favorite paint line is, "Hey baby, when did you show up?" Or no, my favorite paint line.
Oh, that's horrible.
That was terrible. Wasn't that good?
Oh
Hey
my
baby,
God.
hey baby, color my world.
If you have to start a line with "Hey baby," you should probably stop there and just walk away.
All the worst lines in the universe start with "Hey
That's
baby."
a deep thought from John.
My favorite. So I assume the Miss Jillian, who is a lovely young lady who I have made the acquaintance of through the Adepticons and the internets, is and a fantastic painter over at Foxtail Studios, and she is I love Privateer's PP line for most paints. I absolutely love Citadel for their washes, and I love the Army Painter for some of their washes. But for my workhorse paints are P3. Barry, what's your opinion?
The Primor. I'm just looking at my paint tray actually, and most of it's lined up with P3 right now. Although I do have some Reaper paints that are just sort of scattered in there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some very old GW paints that have lasted absolutely longer than they have any right to.
I've got some of those too.
Right, but I mean, I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with P3. The only thing is the P3 white. Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit thick.
Yeah.
So says the guy with Studio Retribution.
I use Vallejo Game Color for my white and for my black.
As do I.
I might have to check that out then.
They're damn nice colors. They are a little thick. They're a little thick, so make sure you're using a wet palette with them, and make sure that you're keeping them plenty dilute. But they're a damn nice paint. I don't know where Citadel gets off with the paints these days. Their paints are just not all that good.
Yeah, they're very hit or miss. Like it depends on having a good day at the factory or not.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with the way their bottles work, they're not even good for putting the ball bearing in.
No.
You'd have to transfer them into the dropper bottle like you do. But speaking of dropper bottles, my favorites are actually Vallejo. They don't quite yet have all the colors I like to use, but man, their selection is immense. And the dropper bottle is super amazing. Doubly amazing if you're using a wet palette.
Yeah. I'm slowly moving to Vallejo. I like the P3, but I am slowly moving towards Vallejo just for that very reason. The drop now that I'm using a wet palette on everything, the drop bottles are legit.
Yeah. And they will have every color you're looking for. It's just finding them because the little color swatch on their little rack doesn't necessarily match exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So that's how I feel on colors.
All right, so I'm gonna try and keep it to one to person unless they're in the chat room.
Sure.
Holy Ducky One asks me particularly, what's my best painted model? Good lord, it's probably the Ashland I did not that long ago. But my painting skills are getting a lot better as we go, so I think I'm probably gonna surpass that here in the next. No, actually, it's my Killjoy. My Killjoy's better, and I painted him first, but I took a lot of time on him.
I'll tell you, when you get to where you can paint on a regular basis, and I look back and I've got my Thunderhead here in front of me, which I thought was kind of my masterpiece at the time that I painted it, and I've clearly surpassed that painting. So keep it up, folks. I mean, that's the only way you get better is keep on painting.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So next, Declan Lowry mentions that Kraken's been released on his side of the pond over in the UK, which is super awesome.
Nice.
And then he asks us, Rogue One, yay or nay?
Rogue One, hell yes.
Yeah, and a big EA from Canada too.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely hell's yes for that. It looks super legit, and anyone complaining that there's another female protagonist, go fuck yourself.
Absolutely, just go fuck yourself. I've got no time for you. Hooray for that movie! Looks straight up fun, and you know what we need more of in the Star Wars franchise is fun. It sometimes can be a little serious, and that movie looks fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It is probably the movie I'm looking forward to the most this year, aside from Civil War.
Yep.
Shocker. All right, so Robert Dureski asks, and he's got to get the kids to bed, so I got to get in here quick.
Oh, love that guy.
I'm looking for a new line of minis to paint. Should I go Guild Ball, Night Models, or Soda Pop? Help!
So, John, do you want to take that one first, or what do you think?
Sure. Creekins wandered by and said, not Soda Pop. So their metal models are very good. Their plastic models are very hit or miss. Their characters are really good. Their troops are less so.
Okay.
I actually would say Night Models. Night Models just makes really, really good shit. And they're making games for everything if you really need an excuse, but it's really good models.
So I got a Guardians of the Galaxy kit in from Night Models, and it came without the one model that I wanted, which was Rocket. It was a mispack.
Okay, they're taking care of you?
Well, I got to call Miniature Market. My LGS doesn't. I don't know. I didn't get a hold of them for this. And
so,
go ahead.
Let me know because I bought that pack on Saturday and I already had Rocket from a previous thing. So
oh, sweet.
If it doesn't all work out for you, you let me know.
I totally will. Thank you very much. It's for my boy, and I wanted to paint it up for him. So
did you get Nova too?
No, I did not get Nova.
Nova's the add-on.
No, I did not get Nova.
I bought him first because I like Nova.
So all right, well keep that in mind. But
there you go.
For sure want Rocket, and if they don't hook me up right away, I'll let you know, John. And then we'll have if they don't hook me up right away, we will have a 25-minute rant in the pre-show about how Miniature Market can take a long walk off a short pier.
Fair enough.
So
what do you think, Barry? What should he get?
See, I was part of the Kickstarter for Relic Knight. I got a couple armies from that, and yeah, their models, they really are hit or miss. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the other systems, so unfortunately I can't speak to them. Relic Knights is nifty, but again, especially some of the faces, the details are just really soft.
It's anime style, so it's weird.
Yeah.
So I am a huge fan of, I'm probably going to. It's not with Cool Mini. I mean, I hate Cool Mini. Don't get me wrong, but I have Rivet Wars and I have Arcadia Quest, and I bought Arcadia Quest from an LGS, so I feel good about that. And I oh, there you go. Hey, that's a oh shoot, what is it? Macross. God damn
Yeah,
it, Robotech.
Zentradi Battlepod,
Nice.
Robotech Mini.
Yep. And I've actually got some of those minis too. That I got a box of those for free when I was at Adepticon.
I've got some from Adepticon that someone picked me up from them as promos.
There you
Haven't
go.
seen it from the Kickstarters though.
I bought into the Kickstarter
So did John.
heavily.
Yeah.
So, but that,
Eventually, I'll have a rant about that for Palladium Books, but we'll save that for later. I don't play Soda Pop. I play Palladium.
there you go. So I'm gonna be. I'll probably. We've got a poll going on, or a bit of an informal poll up on the Painting with Menoth John Facebook page about what I'm going to start painting once these trolls are done, because the goal for these trolls is to be finished this week. So we're going to give a hell of a try to get that done. But probably kind of wondering a little bit where do we go from here? And so some ones that Flight Medic were mentioning are potentials.
Mm-hmm. There's another Space Hulk folk, but you already voted, didn't you?
Who me?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Space Hulk all the way. If nothing else, and that might mean I have to break my own Space Hulk stuff out and paint it. But those, I got the box from 2009.
Yep.
Ish.
From pretty much the last year I was working at Games Workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that box, and beautiful minis.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That was 3rd edition, right? Because that's the edition I have.
Yes.
Third, yes.
Yep. I don't have the 4th edition because it's the same thing as 3rd edition, except more missions.
I've got 2 boxes, 2nd edition, hanging out in my closet somewhere.
Sweet. All right.
No models for them anymore, but anyways. So, let's see here. Seth Watkins wants to know best way to travel cross country and best traveling music if you're going on a road trip.
Best way to go cross country is via plane, because I tried driving to TempleCon in the wintertime and almost died. And
It's no bueno.
No bueno. Wintertime. It's a thing, Seth. We live in the Midwest, my friend. The best music if you are forced to drive is a long podcast or some type of thing like that. I recommend Welcome to Night Vale. It's a wonderful podcast that's creepy, and it's like a Prairie Home Companion meets H.P. Lovecraft. Or audiobooks. And right now, Belinda, librarian, and I are listening to Old Man's War by John Scalzi, and it is a wonderful audiobook. So there's some thoughts there. John, you got some thoughts on that?
I would say driving is fine as long as it's not too far. I think Baltimore to St. Louis is about the limit of what I do. As long as there's someone in the car with you, more the better. And I would have just a large playlist of music, something that's not going to repeat. Or if you repeat, have something secondary, like we had comics. He had a bunch of comics in his car, little bits from comedy skits. So that made it really good.
Cool. What about you, Barry? You said you had quite a number of hours drive to get to GrotsCon.
Yeah, it was a 13-hour drive. Both times I went. And again, other people are great. Podcasts, right? You load up an iPhone or iPad or an iDevice with all of your favorite Manoth John podcasts, and just let them play.
We appreciate Samus Potions.
Oh hell yeah!
You know. or whatever lesser Muse on Minis podcast
Well,
you might
you can
feel.
listen to Muse Prime. I mean, good lord. I mean, a 7-hour trip's what, 3 podcasts?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh
We
my goodness.
we recommend the beer machines. Get out over there to the
Absolutely.
beer machines and learn about what you can't be drinking while you're driving. So, and
That would be anything alcoholic, by the way.
and by the way, I'm going to be on the one of the beer PG episodes as well. I'll be playing a character in one of the beer PGs. So very excited about that.
Oh,
Legit.
now I have an excuse to listen.
There
Okay.
you go.
All right.
I,
So
I
another one from chat room.
there's a better than average chance it's going to be Leolese. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh God. I might listen just for the accent.
Uh,
It's going to
All
be
right,
amazing.
So, Holy Ducky One, who seems new to me, but wants to know from all three of us, what's the best thing you guys ever got for free?
Let's see, for free. The best thing I ever got for free. Well, there was a trip I took to France that was for work. That was pretty amazing. I had to give a 15-minute talk at a conference, and for that I got a week in France. That's a pretty good for free.
That's super legit.
If it was if we're talking about like gaming and stuff like that, I don't know. I've had people give me beer, and although I'll tell you what, this bottle of Sour de Liege is pretty high up there. So, what do you got, Barry?
there we go. So, I saw the question. I don't get a lot for free per se, but what I am going to share is just my wife's birthday gift to me, which is a. I have to bring that back a little bit, get it all in the frame, but it's these plastic Gundam kits.
Man, that's legit.
That is super
These
legit.
these things are serious pieces of tech, right? You just get massive sprues. Like this is like the smallest sprue, and there's a box of these things.
Jesus.
Right, this will keep me occupied for a good 40 or 50 hours, and I mean it's always good fun. If anybody's ever looking for something to do that's not painting per se, I mean these things they go together with glue, pretty much, right? And they look awesome. They're highly posable,
Nice.
and they're a little expensive, but man, they are engineered.
Yeah, Epic Brushhead Centerville does those quite a bit.
Well, that's super sweet. I mean, somewhere along the line, I missed the whole Gundam thing. I don't know if it was my age group that I missed them, that I didn't get to see them so much. But I need to watch some shows.
Hold on, I'm more of a classic Gundam guy myself.
That's
Gotta use the old
good.
man voice.
Well,
I
when I was a boy, my
caught it.
Gundams were called planes and shit.
No, I caught most of Gundam, but mine was more, way before the Gundam Seed and all that stuff that a lot of people have seen recently.
Sure.
Classic Gundam. There's some really good stuff, and they have a hell of a universe.
So if I were to try to jump into the Gundam universe, where should I start and where can I get it?
Not War in the Pocket.
Not War in the Pocket?
War in the Pocket is amazing and very excellent and depressing as fuck.
Okay.
Okay. What one of the things actually it's kind of a meta Gundam show. It's called Gundam Build Fighters, which it appeared on YouTube a couple years back. I don't know if it's still there, but it was at one point completely on YouTube and available.
Did it come from Turkey by any chance?
It did not.
Okay.
No.
God.
So the basic premise of Gundam Build Fighters is people are building the plastic Gundam models, and then they have a magic technology that lets you fight them. And it's all and then it's about it's about
It's like Digimon type of dealio or Pokemon, just Gundam.
sure, except you're not keeping a small furry thing in a tiny enclosed space until you fight for me.
Poor little Pokemon.
But yeah, no. So it's a very entertaining series, and it is definitely on the lighter side. Some of the other shows, I haven't watched a lot of them, but some of them are, they're deep or they're,
Or dated.
crazy or they're bizarre.
Some of them are very dated. Keep in mind, they've been doing this for a while.
Yes, that they are.
So, well, crap. I think the best thing I got for free was the Earthbreaker that Drop Zone got me for helping to run all their events, which was super legit of them.
That's a good gift.
I want 2 more questions I want to get in before we jump to media.
Terrific.
And one is from Jeff Bard Easterwood.
Love that guy.
He says, #Bumbly Snarf. What's your favorite non-reptile Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character?
Oh, God. See, okay, so here's my problem. I'm just going to put this out here. I'm just old enough to have missed the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing. And so I'm gonna admit the fact that I'm gonna say that I'm a little turtle ignorant. But
Okay.
I do know what a Rocksteady is, and I do know what a Bebop is. And so I am going to say Rocksteady out of no other reason than it's one I can name.
That's a good reason. Barry, are you a Turtles guy?
Not deeply, but I'll go with Splinter, right?
Okay.
Just because somebody's got to keep them all in a line, and I'm sure if push came to shove, he would pull some Yoda shit and bounce all over the place.
Oh fuck yeah, he's a rat.
Splinter's the easy answer, and Casey Jones' other easy answer, as Creekins points out to me. I'm actually going with Renee the Time Mage, that they encounter a couple times in their various journeys. Especially cool when they go back to feudal Japan, and Raphael accidentally creates the Foot Clan.
Accidentally, huh?
Accidentally creates the Foot Clan. He teaches some guys how to defend themselves, and they become the Foot, and it's super hilarious. And her character's kind of amusing. She's sort of like having a female sort of Doctor Who. They first meet her, she's in training, and someone's trying to steal her master's time staff and do evil stuff, and they stop him. The Turtles comic got really crazy. Everyone should realize that. It got real crazy. But she was always just a cool character, especially because you got to see her then as a trainee, and then later she came back in as an actual full-fledged, if you will, time mage or whatever.
Cool.
And then the one other one I wanted to do here is Jim Goff. He's what do you think is better, the better part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the movies or the TV shows?
I am going to say I'm actually a huge fan of the movies versus the TV shows, and I'm going to tell you why. I know that everybody is super in love with Daredevil and all that kind of stuff, and I have been not shy about saying the fact that that show is not for me, that it is too violent, and it's almost gratuitously violent. And so it's not for me. It may have been the only way to make Daredevil appeal to a larger audience. I don't know. But it's not for me, and I have yet to go to a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie and not just had a great time. So I think I've got to go with that. Barry, what are your thoughts on that one?
Again, I'm not overly familiar with the Daredevil comics. I have enjoyed the Netflix TV show a lot. It's been years since I've seen the actual movies. I would have to see them again, but again, I'm currently TV show centric.
Cool.
That's fair. I haven't seen Daredevil yet, and I've been told Jessica Jones is similar in that its tone is very, very dark and maybe not what I'm looking for.
Jessica, sorry to butt in here, but yeah, Jessica Jones is brutal in its own way, right?
I'm out.
Without getting too deep into it, but it is a mind trip.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, and I'm a 4-color comic guy, if anyone knows what that means, and the movies are where it's at. I mean, good lord, there's Avengers, Ant-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, but they just keep putting amazing movies out, and I feel no matter how good they make the TV series, it'd be really, really hard to just match the amazing job they're doing on the movies.
So if I need dark,
It's
I'll just
mind-boggling.
if I need dark, I'll turn on CNN and talk about see about the U.S. elections. But
Oh.
right now, I don't need that from my entertainment hours. So
Indeed.
Well, after Jessica Jones, you might need to cheer up and do that. So
Oh,
well, yeah,
Jesus
exactly,
Christ. Wow.
exactly. So I'm out. I'm out on Jessica Jones officially. So
So for everyone else who sent us Facebook questions, I do save them. We will be getting them hopefully next episode. We'll do our best. I might steal a couple, maybe if they're not Man Left John centric, and put them in the next co-host corner.
there you go.
First episode available right now if you're a patron.
Don't
I
forget
hear
that,
it's
folks.
decent. 2 people told me it's decent, so there you go.
It's good stuff. So don't forget that, folks. If you do get into the Patreon, you're going to get 30 extra minutes with the dulcet tones all by his lonesome. So don't hesitate. Sign up, and anybody that's in there will who becomes a patron, no matter what the pledge level, will get access to the co-host corner. And I'm sure there's another one of those coming down the pipe before too long.
Yeah, absolutely. So media section.
Hell yeah.
John, I feel like we should start with your potential project because it sounds horrifying.
So the problem that exists in the internet today is that there aren't enough subtitles for movies that really need them. And one of the movies that's out there right now that needs subtitles hard is Indian Superman. And Indian Superman is a Bollywood take, and it must be an early Bollywood take on
It's been around for a while.
of the Superman, and Wonder Woman is along for the ride, and it's good times. There's, if any of you are familiar with Bollywood movies, there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of dancing, and there's a lot of Superman and Wonder Woman. So I'm just gonna put that out there, and I'm gonna see about starting to do some subtitles because I think that YouTube lets you do that, and if not, I'm gonna bootleg this sumbitch, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them in and upload it up myself. And it's going to take time. This is not easy, but I think it's a labor of love. I think it's worth it. And I think that if I upload that as the first subtitled version of it, I think we got our first million hits, John.
I would say it's definitely possible considering how popular that clip somehow manages to be.
So if you haven't seen the Indian Superman clip, we'll find a way to link that somewhere because it's super legit and totally sweet.
We were talking about it earlier in the week or last week. Recently, we were talking about it.
Yep. It's amazing. Superman comes down and does a one-hand spin on some dude, and then he still stays suspended in midair because continuity. And it's there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of dancing. That's all I got to say.
Did you watch anything this week? Sorry, John.
There's a whole lot of screwing in the light bulb and petting the dog. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that
Fair
going
enough.
on.
Oh,
Barry?
yeah, so I actually Netflix up here in Canada has been slow to add stuff, but in the last bit they've just been dumping things in there. So I actually got to see something I had missed in the theaters. I got to see Terminator Genesis.
Oh, I'm sorry that you caught that.
Actually, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I mean, when I watch a Terminator movie, unless it's number 2, I'm not looking for anything serious or deep or anything. And what is that, 5? Genesis there was entertaining and helped me pass a couple hours while I was sorting out my my painting desk.
There you go.
fair enough. How many shots of Kraken you figure it's worth?
Definitely, probably 2.
2? Okay.
Just to give yourself a nice glow
I'll take the edge
while
off.
you watch Arnie try to smile.
I am so old. Oh.
That is one I would definitely watch on Amazon Prime or something. I'm like, it doesn't seem bad enough that I'd shoot myself in the face or anything.
Way better for free.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
everything's way better for free. That's a truth of movies. It's the money you spent versus how good they are ratio.
It's incredible how big what the gulf is between free and a penny.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I saw Olympus Has Fallen and its sequel London Is Falling for less than $9. If you count the soda I bought at the movie theater, we're still only at about $12.50 or so for the two of them combined.
So I understand that is what you are here to tell us about, and whether or not that $9 was a $9 that you regret, or if it's a $9 you felt was worth its $9.
Well, I'll start with Olympus Has Fallen may be the most unrealistic action movie I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
And I've watched superhero movies. That being said, once you get past the whole, okay, this is in the Fast and the Furious universe where crazy shit happens, it is a hoot. I mean, it's not blatant comedy. The main character does give you some of the one-liners, and he's very fond of dropping the F-bomb, and his language is very salty. But he's really amusing, and the fights are brutal, but they're not, like, excessively bloody. Or if they are, that's sort of like the theme. You never see, like,
Sure.
blood spatter everywhere or anything like that, guts hanging out. None of that bullshit. It's sort of like Commando,
Okay.
just less realistic.
That's saying something right there, folks.
The action scenes are more realistic. The plot of what happens, because basically the theory in Olympus Has Fallen is somebody takes over the White House with the president. I'm not going to go into details because spoiling it kind of ruins the whole, I can't believe that shit just happened.
Okay. Well, we don't want to do that.
But so that's sort of the theme, and then Gerard Butler is a Secret Service agent who used to protect the president, but now is in the Treasury. And of course, when danger happens, he runs towards danger because that's what men of action do.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets in deep and ends up being, of course, the one to try and go save the president and his son. It's fun. It's basically Die Hard in the White House, but sort of like Under Siege is a solid Die Hard ripoff. This is a solid Die Hard ripoff.
Fair enough.
So it's amusing. I give it about 2 to 2.5 shots of Kraken. Sort of depends on how much you think about the opening scene. If you're in the right mind frame from the beginning, you're like, okay, I'm good. It'll be about 2 shots because it's solid, second tier action movie. If it hits you the wrong way, you're gonna need an extra half shot to get through that little bit where you're like, never mind. You know what? Let me just have some more alcohol. It'll make sense then.
There you go.
And then, since it was in the cheap theaters, I saw with a couple of my buddies, Oak and Brad, we managed to go to the cheap theaters and watch London Has Fallen.
Okay.
Funny moment from that, Brad had mentioned that he wasn't going to make it on one of our chats. And then partway through the mirror movie, out of the corner of my eye, I catch some random stranger handing Oak some popcorn. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, oh shit, it's Brad. He's like, I thought you guys saw me. I'm like, no, totally missed you. I was watching the movie. But that's a weird feeling when it looks like some random stranger is handing your buddy popcorn. Oh.
Well,
So,
I can believe that in Canada. They're very friendly there.
Fair, but we're not in Canada. We're deep in the heart of Glen Burnie.
Yeah, well, that's different.
And it's not the good part of Glen Burnie. Is there a good part of Glen Burnie?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. Well, we'll see. In any case, the movie was very amusing. It's a sequel. They don't necessarily mention everything from the first. Like if you're expecting super continuity, it's not super continuity. But these kind of movies don't need that. It's got about as much continuity as the second Die Hard does to the first Die Hard. That meaning you see people who are in the first movie, they are the same people. There you go. It is somehow more realistic than the first movie, which is an amazing statement considering some of the things that happen in there. But still a hoot. It ends up that the British Prime Minister has died of natural causes, they think, and so they get everyone together. Everyone's coming to London for the funeral. And then, of course, terrorists happen, because terrorists happen.
Yes, they do.
In that universe, terrorists really happen. And when they happen big. And it becomes sort of like, I wanted to think it was going to be like Die Hard with a Vengeance, just in London. But it wasn't really. It was sort of Die Hard in London.
Okay.
A little more of the same. A little more realistic. Good chemistry between the leads, which is Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart playing the president. And generally pretty decent jobs all around. I give it a shot and a half of Kraken regardless. It was decent, good action. Just fun movie to see, especially with some buds. So definitely both well worth the money. And you can, if you're a Prime member, you can get Olympus Has Fallen for less than $4 before tax from Amazon, and DVD for less than $4 is usually worth it, and this one especially so.
Very good. Very good. Well, it sounds like we've had some solid cinema recommendations here this week. So outstanding. You know, John, we're right here at the very end of the show.
Yeah, we are. It's worked out perfectly to end on time.
Absolutely. And you know,
Yeah.
we're right now we are in the process of I'm doing my cleanup as I am wont to do with my brushes. Don't forget that, folks. If you love your brush, you want to show it the love by giving it a little bit of this, giving it the business here at the end of the show. And this this soap is not expensive. It's the Masters brush and cleaner and preserver. That's how you want to end up every one of your painting sessions is to give it the tip, and just the tip. You got to make sure that it's got a nice it's got a nice sharp tip to it by the time you're done with it. And then you put it there and you just let that conditioner sit in it, and it'll be super sweet for you the next time. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up the regular cam here at the end of the show as we are wont to do. Whoops, that's not it. There we go. This is it. That was a segue, folks. That's professional fucking podcasting right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the music because that's what we do at the end of every one of our shows. You know, Barry, I want to thank you for being a part of this show here today.
You know, it was good to come out. Thanks for letting me come on and ramble about games.
Oh, you've been a proud supporter of the show for a long time. Least we can do is have you on and give people a chance to hear the dulcet tones that are uniquely Barry Ravebomb Holmes. So on behalf of Mr. John Spencer, he's the wind beneath my wings, my mighty right hand, up in the corner. I'm Menoff John. We're going to be back here next Sunday for shenanigans and whatnot, your favorite place to hang out and paint. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Good night, Brushheads.